It is a gorgeous Thursday evening on the farm. It is the setting for Big Classico and men's soccer action tonight. 6th-ranked Stanford going up against 3-2-3 Cal. Alongside World Cupper Christopher Sullivan, I'm Kevin Dana, and Sully, let's start with the Stanford Cardinal. They have not lost this year. Senior center back Keegan Hughes is one reason why.
Absolutely. Stanford in impressive form, and it's because of this type of defensive presence. Look at the sliding, like old-fashioned, like Giorgio Chiellini stepping out to the ball, deflections here, snap header when you need a game winner. This is the type of presence that you need from one of your captains and defenders.
That game winner had him part of the Top Drawer Soccer National Team of the Week for his work against UC Santa Barbara. This is Carlo Agostinelli, great goal scorer and great service provider for the Cardinals.
Absolutely. Carlo, tutto posto, coming back from a flight from Paris. What a life. Let's see if he can light up the field tonight.
He's got 3 goals, and for Cal, a couple of guys with 3 goals, including Fahmi Ibrahim, who had a game winner against St. Mary's, and this Bambasso against UC San Diego.
I love this player, Ibrahim. He reminds me of Kylian Mbappe right there, locating the far post, and look at the run right here. In a tough, tight game, he finds the near post. Very few players would make that beautiful, exquisite finish. It's going to be a great matchup tonight against Stanford.
He's sharing the team leading goals with Shohei Honda with 3 goals so far this season for the sophomore from Japan.
Not Keisuke Honda,
nope.
For all you Japanese fans, Shohei Honda, and I'm looking forward to see him show up tonight in a big fashion.
Should be a great one on the farm. Don't go anywhere. After this, we got the opening touch starting lineups. It's Big Classico, que fantastico, coming up right after the break on Pac-12 Networks. And hey, Fahmi, get that dirt off your shoulders. Ready to roll here at Stanford. Nice shot at University Ave in downtown Palo Alto. Kevin Dana and Christopher Sullivan with you for Big Classico. 3rd conference match of 10 for these two teams. Stanford with 2 points in conference play, Cal with 3. As we take a look at the Golden Bears starting lineup, it's a 3-5-2 that they run with Colin Travasos in the net, Carmichael, Singer, and Gomez, the back 3. The midfield's going to look a little different today because Nate Carrasco, normally a forward, has been dropped down a line to the midfield.
Yeah, but I think it's all free-flowing after the start. The key here for me, Kevin, is Estrada. Estrada is the number 10. He's a playmaker, very creative. So as he goes, Cal will go in the attacking 3rd.
Leonard Griffin in his first year at the helm after a couple of years at USF and 1 year at Grand Canyon. That's the starting 11 for Cal. The starting 11 for Stanford will look like this for head coach Jeremy Gunn. No bones about it. 4-4-2 for the Cardinal. Matt Frank in the net. Adnan and Hughes, the center backs. Tingy and Will Cleary, the outside backs, with Fisher, Silly, Riley, and Bank in the midfield. And Liam Doyle starting for Agostinelli and Jackson Keel up top.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a few other attackers come in along with Agostinelli, but I'm going to keep an eye on number 20, Will Riley. He's a playmaker, and they play him off the side, kind of like Michael Laudrup, the 5-time Spanish Player of the Year from Denmark, when he was playing in Ajax. He's not a carrilero running up down the line. Look for him to get in those attacking pockets.
Yeah, Riley's a guy who's an Atlanta United product. He actually played 35 matches in the USL Championship with Atlanta United, too.
Yeah, and a former Stanford great, Amir Bashki, is here tonight here in the crowd. The Fantasista, who was actually drafted by Atlanta. So
yeah, they actually formed a double pivot at one point for Atlanta United, too. Will Riley and Amir Bashti.
Right. But Bashti's never should be in a pivot. He's an attacker. He's a number 10. He's a fantasista. But same kind of player, right? That was under Frank de Boer, who, loves to play attacking football. He wasn't there for long. But I think I'm excited about these two teams. When you look at the quality of the players and talking to both coaches before the game, Kevin, you can see that they're relaxed. You always want to have a little tension in your players for a big Classico, but the players solve it on the field, so it's going to be amazing to see how they play.
72nd all-time meeting. Stanford leads the series 36-24, 11, 36 wins, 11 draws for the Cardinal. They split a couple of results last year, I should say. Stanford won 5-0, and then they drew 1-1 at Cal to the last Pac-12 regular season match. And we are underway here from Larry Q. Kagan Stadium. Long ball over the top, a chance to get in for Fletcher. Bank takes the shot, looks near post and almost tucked it in.
Great early look right here from Fletcher Bank. I mean, he's an engine. He's a motor. That's the kind of player you want in that wide position. Look at the replay here. Great direct ball, good flick on. And this is just great agility to try to get that on target.
You know, it was the Cardinal who conceded an early goal at UC Santa Barbara last Saturday. They gave up a goal in the 3rd minute, and quite honestly, they could have been down 2-0 within about 10 minutes, but they fought back well in that match, got an early goal of their own in the 16th minute, and Keegan Hughes providing the match winner early in the second half. Tingy, that one has stayed in. No, it didn't. There's Leonard Griffin, first-year head coach. He had success at Grand Canyon, 15 wins there last year. Coached Nonso Adimabua at USF when he was there. A really good man for the job.
I think phenomenal for the job, and I was personal old former teammate of mine, Kevin Grimes, KG, as he's known, 22 years at Cal, has put more players in the pros in Pac-12. You'd have to say Ziggy Schmidt, the late great Ziggy Schmidt as well. But I was talking to great combination here. Leonard is a perfect candidate here, and not only because he was an assistant at Cal and All-American at UCLA, won a national championship, what he's done at Grand Canyon, but also Kevin was instrumental in the transition as well. So it's a great story, to get this program back on track.
Yeah, he was an assistant for Kevin Grimes at Cal back in the year that they were ranked 1 in the country for more than a month. Carrasco trying to do some work in the midfield, normally plays up top. It is Honda and Adimabua up top for the Golden Bears. This is Silly. Tangy with it. Providing service into the box, and that's blasted away.
It's great to see Silly get that little space in there. Last year they was a little more functional, and they didn't have that expression. And Jeremy Gunn had said there's a little more of that this year. And part of that is the spacing. Great start from Stanford.
They have been on the front foot, that's for sure, as that's blasted away by Guzman. And they got a chance to counter here. Shohei Honda, can he win the race? He's able to get there first. Support coming from Adimabua and Wyatt Meyer, but unable to get the cross off as Will Riley's there to clean things up for the Cardinal. Foul alongside the far touchline.
We got a quick look at Honda on the break right there in the open field transition, but the recovery speed of Cleary was pretty impressive, and also the position that he took to pull him back. He wasn't able to link up with Adimabua. I think it's intriguing when you look at the 3-5-2. A lot of teams that have come, I've only seen a few. Oregon State a few years ago that played against Stanford in a 3-5-2. And, to go toe-to-toe with Stanford. So it should be interesting to see how this works. Dropping Carrasco back in that position as well. You get a lot of attackers in that attacking transition for Cal.
There's Hughes. Play one over the top, looking for Doyle, taken down by Fahmi Ibrahim. And one right back by Riley. Cardinal are in. Sent into the mixer and cleared away by Carmichael.
Great little combination.
Here comes Fahmi Ibrahim taking it down. Couldn't control it. Carrasco's there. And Leonard Griffin this week saying, got to have extended spells of possession against the Cardinal, which is not the easiest thing to do.
No, but I think they've started well. The first 5 minutes, you got that relentless push that's typical from Stanford. They trademarked that in Pac-12, but you're seeing some combinations. You see some composure on the ball, nice little quick exchange out of a defensive third from Fahmi Ibrahim, and then he makes a slashing run into the attack. On the other side already, the first touch that I've seen from Riley was impressive. He's a slasher. This player is going to be fundamental.
Yeah, just a sophomore.
Yep.
Headed out by Gomez. There's Keegan Hughes with a nice touch. He's just put in rock solid performance after rock solid performance, Jeremy Gunn saying.
And I think this one goes out, but to your point right there, it's all about his timing. You know, everyone's looking at the physicality, the speed, you know, his how agile he is to take balls on the half bounce and everything, but his timing is just impeccable. And that ability, when you take those risks, it's so great to have defenders behind you that have that quality.
A big reason why Stanford has only given up 2 goals in the run of play this year. Gave up a third on a PK against SMU earlier this season. Played forward looking for Jackson Keel, who's got 3 goals. That's smartly defended by the Golden Bears. There's Estrada, the number 10. Looking for Adi Mabua, but there's Keegan Tingy, a chance for a final third throw in here for Cal.
Nice composure, fluidity in the midfield, coming through the feet of Meyer. Estrada, you can see why he's wearing the number 10, very graceful in releasing that pass into the attacking third. Numerical superiority from Cal going forward, good defensive decision.
Adi Mabua just won a corner for the Golden Bears. The goals haven't come for Nonso as much as they normally have in past years when he was at USF, but Leonard Griffin saying still very dangerous, very goal dangerous, and does a lot of great work pressing high and creating goal opportunities for his teammates.
Well, I think you know all over the world it's hard to find number 9s. You know, the U.S. team's trying to find one right now for the World Cup.
Guzman, a low screamer across the face of goal, and it's momentarily cleared back in with Cal looking back post for Carmichael, and we'll have a foul against the Golden Bears in the box.
Yeah, this was clever, and it's designed in the training ground. If you watch this right here, near post run, it's got all that whip to it, and just let it a little dummy run right there and laid back. You don't get 2 bites at the cherry there, but the first one was a huge opportunity for Cal.
Cleary was the one who was able to boot it away from danger. Nice turn from Riley.
Ole.
Throw in for the Cardinal. For Cal, Leonard Griffin saying also, how can we withstand that first 15, 20, 30 minutes with all the energy, great crowd on hand here. Most of them, of course, wearing Cardinal red. And
well, at some point, all that goes away, you know, and you get used to it. You're just hearing the sound of the ball and smelling the grass. And I think both these teams, you can see early on, they've settled in already. So good start from Cal weathering the storm, to your point. He was talking more about how do we play away from pressure in transition.
Turned out to be a free kick off the chest of Bank. Liam Doyle has it blocked by Carrasco and then is pushed to the turf.
And that's why some coaches play like number 14, Liam Doyle, who's a clear lefty. Rather, you want him to be able to take that with his inside foot. He lets it come around, and then the pressure's there. So if he's on the other side of the field, then that's why you invert the lefties and righties for that very reason.
Doyle, a freshman from Tokyo, Japan, 2 goals, 2 assists, 6 points. 4th on the team in points this year for the Gunners. Keel with a nice touch.
And both teams are playing narrow. You know, Stanford transforms into a 4-2-2-2 with the great Brazilian coach in '94, Carlos Alberto Pereira, kind of coined in world football. And Jeremy had said, you know, we go from a 4-4-2 into a 4-2-2-2, and that's where you can get players like Riley a little more central. But you see early on, both teams are a little bit more narrow. They're not playing right there when Carrasco got the ball. He's trying to loop in like a Tenny Balone pass into the middle rather than playing into the flank.
Does that favor Stanford?
Well, no, I mean, I think it's just an adjustment to the actual play at the moment. I don't think that it's going to be set. I think that it'll be fluid, you know, as this game opens up. And sometimes players have to recognize where the space is, you know, to open up and stretch teams. But in years past, Stanford was known to really use the width in the flanks.
Keel dropping this one off. It's Riley.
I like that play. great feet. You know, he's just elegant on those little Cruyff turns and cuts to separate.
Keegan Tingy looking back post, just out of the stride of that back post runner, Cam Silly.
Well, look at the timing again, but it all starts at the feet of Riley, and then you look at this in-swinger. I mean, impeccable precision right there. And, you know, if he slides with his right there, maybe he can get it. It looks like he's just a tad short.
Yeah, really nice ball in there from Keegan Tingy, though. All Pac-12 honorable mention each of the last 2 years for the Cardinal. Had 4 assists last year, 1 helper already this season.
No worries.
Cardinal building from the back. Guzman.
It's good pressure and timing from Guzman, who for me as a player is impressed with his scoring ability. You know, he's got that Alvaro Recoba ability with that left. It's a golden left. Look out here.
Cardinal in the box, and a heavy touch there from Jackson Keel.
The link up and combination is fantastic. It's just the players are receiving with the incorrect foot. So in there you want to take it with his right foot right here.
Yeah.
He's using his left. You gotta actually decelerate and come back and make an adjustment. It's a fine adjustment in the area, and sometimes players don't realize the space that they actually have.
Cardinal back on the front foot here with Bank. 4 assists to lead the team. Headed down. Still, snatched away by Travasos. Thought it might have been able to sneak away from him, but Colin Travasos able to snatch that one.
Fantastic ball in, and then you see the presence of mind here from Riley. Just to snap back across and looking for the adjustment. Well done from the keeper.
The Cardinal have been knocking on the door here in the first quarter hour. But back to Guzman, you're making a point about his goal scoring ability. I mean, his goal against San Diego State was unreal.
Yeah. And for a lefty, I mean, it's typical. Those are the type of goals that you get out of him. And now I'm interested to see, But, you know, we didn't, that last action in sequence from Stanford, I think it was Fletcher Bank who swung that in. And I mean, this kid is amazing. The engine he has on him, his feet, the awareness, fearless around goal.
Meyer.
He has several assists, and you can see why.
Yeah, 4 assists. That leads the team. And it's also tied for 3rd in the conference coming in to match play today. Adi Mabua.
What a great story with Bank, as well as twin brother Palmer. Bank, and I was aware of him from one of the greats from Salinas that played, you know, with the Blackhawks and professionally. Lorenzo Magna is coached him when he was young. You know, so he's so proud. He might be around here today. I'm sure he's come to several of the games, but it's just great to see those stories that they end up at Stanford. And, you know, they're coming from playing, you know, they're immersed in the real football. That's what I love to see, that fabric.
Fletcher, 2 minutes older than his twin brother Palmer. Guzman again, looking near post, headed out. It'll be a goal kick this time.
Well, there's a good response that you look for from Cal. It was a flurry, you know, a wave and wave of attacking impetus and insisting from Stanford, but it's all controlled and composed. You know, we've seen in past versions of Stanford that it was just hyper pressing, hyper, you know, just ruthless, relentless attack. And sometimes, you know, just looking for that first goal to open up. But now you see the composure, you see the combination, you see the chemistry and fluidity amongst the players. The heads are up. And so that makes for aesthetically, I think, a better game.
"15 minutes in the books. Goalless here on the farm. Stanford out shooting the Golden Bears 3-0 at the moment. Touched out to Keegan Tingy. Good work from Fisher in the midfield there. Along with Cam Silly. Playing over the top, and that will be a corner kick for the Cardinal. When Agostinelli's in, he's the one taking the corners. It'll be Fletcher Bank. And with Agostinelli currently on the bench.
You talked about Cal, during these situations, and they have everyone back. So they're not even keeping a forward up top. Inviting with the in-swinger here.
Gave up both goals against UCLA off corner kicks. And
target will be Hughes.
Scored off a play like this against UC Santa Barbara. Adnan, first head flicked on by Hughes. Top of the box, the shot takes a deflection. It'll be another corner kick off the boot of Cam Silly.
Well, they always say when there's two heads, you normally get a goal. This one didn't, but nice little layback, and he couldn't hit this correctly, but he's gifted a corner here.
Keegan Hughes is down in the box. Training staff will come take a look at him. And also, Wyatt Meyer coming off.
Mexican? Really? I'm actually 25% Mexican.
So, well, with Meyer, you wonder if it's concussion protocol. I mean, if they were to hit heads, and definitely has to be checked.
So Cal's going to have to defend this corner kick a man down. Bank on the lefty in-swinger. Looking near post. Cal does well to clear. Able to get out of pressure. Looking to pick out Adi Mabua. Cardinal player goes to ground. It'll be a foul on Jonah Estrada as Jackson Keel is slow to get up. Looks like the Golden Bears are readying Juan Martinez to come on for Wyatt Meyer, and it will be number 8 in white for the Golden Bears. Stanford in the black kits. There's Martinez, team leading 2 assists on the year for the senior from Coronado. Third time coming off the bench this year for Leonard Griffin. It started 6 of the first 8 matches. Fisher fouled. So it'll be Tingy to take the set piece here for the Cardinal. A great ball in earlier, just missed. Linking up with Cam Silly on a far post run. Tingy plays this one into the area. And Ibrahim will send it away, trying to unlock Honda.
He's played a good ball there. I mean, look at giving Cal a chance to put pressure in the other half. Step up the pitch.
The high press is on. I'll go out for a Cal throw. Or a Stanford throw.
Yes.
My
Deflection,
mistake. Yeah.
When you have Fletcher Bank, cultured foot, you have 2 of them there with Tingy as well. The recovery interesting on all the set plays, standard situations, corners, and free kicks. They bring Hughes up and Tingy, and then Cleary stays back. You know, so that tells you that he's got the breakaway speed, particularly when you look at Honda. Honda's fast.
Yes.
You know, I mean, he's not just a goal getter. You can see that he's good in the open field as well.
Yeah, Honda is really impressed Leonard Griffin, not only with his goal scoring, but his work rate.
Nice.
Good work from Bank.
That's why I bought a ticket. That's what I want to see.
Leads
Little
to a
pirouette,
corner.
nice little cut. They call that bangish in Hungarian, a little razor cut right there. And you can hear the fans. They appreciate it.
Yep.
Give us a little sugar.
Riley on the corner kick. Keegan Hughes was running back on.
Yep.
The reason for the hold up there.
And I think it is concussion protocol.
Bumbling ball in the box, clear. Tingy trying to send it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a foul.
Dangerous play. You know, good effort right there. He didn't know anyone's behind him. In swinger here, this ball's bouncing around. It gets played out to the top. Rather than shoot, he looks to play that at the back post.
Gomez just out of the reach of Martinez.
Martinez had a nice link up, right, on that goal against St. Mary's.
Yeah, he played a nice ball to Fahmi Ibrahim.
It started with a keeper.
Yeah. Travasos, a great release throw.
Yeah, amazing distribution. So you know that this is a team that's a transitional team. Very good in transition, both sides.
Yeah, that's one of the keys Leonard Griffin was saying for this match against Stanford, being good in transition. Fisher for Bank.
Why not?
Takes the shot, one hops it to Travasos.
That's good. You try to gain momentum. And you see he knows exactly what he wants to do here. Quick touch, carve out a little bit of space, and he'd like to hit it a little better. But again, incrementally, you're trying to put pressure on your opponent, pin him back, not give. Cal loves to enjoy the ball, right? Perfect ball right in the interior channel.
Doyle, oh, that one going behind Bank.
And again, it's a lefty to a lefty, but he's played to his right foot. And sometimes that's where, you know, you have that association with a player that you understand. I'm playing the ball to Kevin. I got to give it to his left. Finta.
Tingy. I'm a righty with the feet.
I still play to your left, though, 'cause the inside.
Doyle.
Then you can shoot with your right.
There you go.
But, you know, you're seeing the interchanging, the confidence of passing with Stanford. It's very good. This version of Stanford, it's a rebuild. You know, they dominated college football for years. You know, and for me, pound for pound, I think you have the best coach in the game. I mean, he is so surprised that the Earthquakes never took him. But he's done, it's like a dynasty that he's built with Stanford. You know, he's still, there's a little bit of a rebuild last year, 6-6-6, but the players he's brought in, very impressive.
Well, the Earthquakes sure do have a lot of his players now.
That's right, too.
Drafted Husseini Buddha, 8th overall. Will Richmond sign a homegrown player contract?
It was unfortunate because Buddha, the pandemic, and then the injury, the surgery he had.
Adam John in prior days had played for the Earthquakes. Spent his senior year with Jeremy Gunn.
Well, the biggest one you had playing all last year, the defender. Ryan.
Here comes the shot from Silly.
Again, they're getting good looks, nice approach. Defense is just pulling off a little bit because he's isolated.
Onimabua, it's the first head to it. trickle over to Frank.
And the one thing that I've seen, though, like in these situations right here, these sequences where Stanford has to build out of the back, the 3-5-2 hasn't done its job from a pressing standpoint. Let's see if they can. They haven't been able to dispossess Stanford coming out of the back. It's been too easy. And so for me, there would be a change in a 3-5-2. Better to move in a 3-4 across the middle and then 2-1, where you have two attacking mids. That way you can close the width.
Adi Mabua, normally very good pressing.
It's hard to press with two. You need to press with three. And so Estrada has to come up. Those three have to press. That timing hasn't been there.
Stanford back in the final third. This is Fisher.
Great ball.
Riley. Cal wanted a handball.
So again, you were just saying you play with your right. So the ball that was played in went to his right. Ooh, nice move.
There's not so Adi Mabua taking on Cleary. 1v1 to his right, takes the shot, and it's blocked by Adnan.
Right there, you see how lethal Cal can be in the transition on the break. Adi Mabua with a double scissor. He looked like Ronaldo Phenomenal there. Gets a good look. Nice movement. Separates. He's got everything to look for there. You know, you'd want to see a similar finish like Ibrahim, where you play for the far post, where he goes for power, hits, strikes it with the instep. Well deflected.
Great opportunity there for the Golden Bears. Estrada standing over this free kick for Cal. Swinging it in, punched away by Frank. Martinez takes a shot, takes a deflection, and a corner upcoming.
Well, this is very positive from Cal. You get the first opportunity with Adi Mabua. This gets knocked down. Look at the Cal white shirts right here. He's got a great chest collection. He wants to put it on his left, looking for that quick, swift half volley on the left. Good football.
Guzman will take the corner. Had a really juicy corner kick earlier in this match, sending a ball across the face of goal. Plenty of options inside the 6-yard box. Ibrahim missing wide.
You see there's a ton of thought going into this match. At first, you had Carrasco, who went over the near post and let it go through his legs, dummy. They were looking to do the same things. Okay, our opponent, like University of Washington, Stanford, aerial dominance is just incredible.
Yeah.
Let's play low.
Cal right back in. Martinez along the byline has options. Another corner kick coming up for the Golden Bears.
Yeah, not bad to pick up a corner, but he missed the opportunity. It's kind of paralysis by analysis there.
Yeah.
The back post was wide open. You could see the target. You've got to get it off your feet earlier there.
28th minute of work. It's going to be Fahmi Ibrahim this time, the senior from Alameda. Taken short. Headed out. Fisher. Crunching challenge there by Kevin Carmichael.
Yeah,
And Fisher slow to get up.
The back is tweaked a little bit there because he's coming through. They want to give him a chance to make sure he's all right. Fisher's been covering quite a bit of ground. He's linked up. A lot of touches on the ball. Facilitating, make sure I like the way he's been playing Cam Silly through. And Silly has an incredible, Cam Silly has a great presence in the midfield, particularly the first 15 minutes.
He and Silly part of that engine room for the Cardinal. Jeremy Gunn has called it. Keel. Couldn't shape it right to Bank.
Yeah, and Keel, sometimes you want to take two touch there. No one had told him. So he's laying off a ball where he can turn. Actually, and go into the inside. He had the space. You can see that Carmichael was a good 6-7 yards off him. And so just the communication in between Fletcher Bank and Keel.
Keel, a sophomore from San Diego, did not play last year. Has 3 goals this year. The Cardinal lost a lot of attacking options from that 2021 team that went 6-6-6.
Tanner Beeson. That's who
Tanner
I was thinking.
Beeson. Okay.
It's like the guessing game. We got to go through the alphabet here. And I should know Tanner Beeson.
Great defender for the Cardinal.
Yeah,
he was drafted 2 years ago.
He's done really well. You know, he got used a lot from Matez Almeida. Nice hit.
Doyle just wide of the mark.
Millimeter. But that explosive acceleration, low to the ground, is what you want to see out of an attacker. Knows exactly what he wants to do. He puts a little shape on that. Keeper does well to get to the near post.
Narrowly missing out on his 3rd goal of the season right there. Travassos on the goal kick. Stopped more than 3/4 of the shots he's faced this year.
This is going to skip out. I always give credit to forwards when they're clever and they're not just playing for power. You know, those kind of goals that you score, you're looking for placement. You see Karim Benzema at a great, you know, he'll be World Player of the Year from Real Madrid after winning Champions League. How many times he shaped the ball and placing it in the corner. And so you got to give credit to Liam Doyle there. Most players would be looking just for power.
Coming on for the Golden Bears is Cameron Roby, freshman midfielder. A defender by trade, but has played largely in the midfield this year.
So Honda comes off. Yeah.
And so imagine now Nate Carrasco would go up top with Nonso Adimabua. Shohei Honda comes off. Normally Carrasco has started quite a bit up top with Nonso Adimabua. It was one of the focus for the Golden Bears at the beginning of the season, trying to find that right attacking partnership. Fahmi Ibrahim. And there's a foul.
Ooh. That's pretty harsh right there on that call. That's questionable. But you can see Ibrahim just trying to make something, unbalance the opponent. A little slash, explosive acceleration with the ball coming back deeper to receive in his starting position. And now the last 5-10 minutes, Cal has been able to respond. They're answering to the bill.
This is Juan Martinez. Ball's in. Headed out by Adnan. Roby's there. Adnan again. Now the Cardinal can counter. Bank. And Roby with a solid tackle.
Good counter there from Bank. He knew what he wanted to do. Instead of going wide and being vulnerable, he pushed in the interior and used the body posture to push off and just float on the initial challenge. Those in-swingers from Martinez, either you got to hit the back post or you got to change it up a little. Variation in attack. It's predictable, and they were vulnerable on the counter.
Bank.
Mira, que pelota.
Nicely played for Riley.
He should have had that. But what collection with the chest. Fantastic. I love both those young kids.
Yeah, Riley, a sophomore. Bank, a freshman.
Unbelievable.
Bank has really impressed Jeremy Gunn this year. Comes from a stomping ground, former stomping ground of Jeremy Gunn's in Bakersfield.
Salinas, yeah.
There's Jeremy Gunn. Played at CSU Bakersfield.
And I just saw his mentor the other day, Simon, San Jose State coach.
Guy goes to ground, and yep.
No VAR.
No VAR, no corner. No penalty, I should say. And here it is again.
Great little slash. He holds a knee in there a little bit. That's why it looked at second view. It's very questionable. Of course, this is when you go to VAR and they look at it 200 million times,
yeah.
and in slow motion.
Carlo Agostinelli has come on here in the 35th minute. Again, flew back to Paris in between matches. UC Santa Barbara, they were there on Saturday, just came back from France. So that's why he wasn't in the starting 11. A native of Paris, France, at the high school in England.
And we were wondering, is he a Paris Saint-Germain fan? Because he might have caught the Argentine game. I mean, the Brazil game at Parc des Princes.
Is that the 5-1 win over Tunisia?
Exactly.
The Brazilians looking mighty fine heading into the World
They
Cup.
are.
Considered the favorites, or one of them.
Little samba on the way to Qatar.
Yeah. World Cup, less than 2 months away.
Gabriel Jesus couldn't even get in.
Ali Mabua. And it's going to go for a goal kick. Adi Mabua let that one go out. He thought it had taken a touch.
Yeah, you have to be careful. He was in a position to cut back. You know, the same kind of cutbacks we saw from Riley on the right side. You know, you want to cut that back with your left and stay on it. You're in a great position near goal with support. And we're talking about Tobin Simon.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the clear mentors for many. And I saw him the other day. He was scouting. I asked him, "You going to stay around another 5-10 years?" He said, "Maybe a couple." But I mean, you're talking about guys that have created a legacy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's one of the guys that helped Jeremy Gunn. And when San Jose State, I called the game San Jose a few years ago. This year, I mean, Stanford had beaten San Jose State, but a few years ago they played toe-to-toe.
Yeah.
And the way they play, too, State can play football. They got the mobility, the combination. Stanford, though, especially on the farm. But it's great to see when you've had guys that stayed under you. Keith Costigan, who worked at Fox with me, Fox Sports, he's still there, and he coached with him at Bakerfield. So many guys that have learned under him.
Yeah, I want to say they played to a draw either last year or the year before, San Jose State and Stanford.
Right.
It's a singer. Silly. Shane DeFlores also came on for the Cardinal.
A little heavy. That's a tough one when you're playing a three-man combination to the outside. Grass is a little slick. They water it before kickoff. You got to make sure you have just the right touch.
DeFlores came on for Jackson Keel. So it's DeFlores and Agostinelli up top for the Cardinal now.
Local boy, DeFlores.
A Danville kid.
Yep, played in for Dianza, I think, as well. Great touch.
Ball sent in, looking for Bank. Ibrahim doing a nice bit of defending there, and Gomez sends it away. Mabua, cheeky touch there to Martinez. Back to Nonso, back to goal. And worked off the ball there by the Cardinal. Swarming defense there from Stanford as DeFlores carries it forward for Bank. Acres of space to work with for the Cardinal.
Great relay.
Agostinelli, top of the box, takes the shot, and easy enough for Travassos.
And when you look at the combination and relaying the ball and swinging, everything's done impeccable right here. And then you just look for the final quality. Maybe his legs, he's still in the plane coming from Paris. But from there, you have to go for it. I always tell the forwards, go for the far post. Even if you miss swinging for it. You got the keeper quality is too good to beat him when you're playing straight up the middle.
This match certainly hasn't lacked for excitement. It's been a fun one through the first 38.5 minutes. Cleary. Flores trying to play on Riley. It's Bank. He'll take the shot. It takes a deflection, and this will be going Cal's way.
There's a great look. There's a pause, a hesitation with the hips, and he said, hey, I'm just going to take a strike here. Good reaction to step in.
Carrasco. That's the first ball.
Great touch.
Lays it off for Ibrahim. Nobody home back post. This is Roby. Now DeFlores. A goal and an assist for Shane this
Should
year.
be a yellow card right there. On this one, he's grabbed his shirt as he's cutting.
We might get it. Maybe just a stern talking to. There's Luis Guardia. Christian Zapian, AR1. Ritesh Chotu, AR2. Luis Herrera, our alternate official.
Well, Luis Guardia has got to be fit to ref this one in the middle because there's a lot of back and forth. Like the Autobahn.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of the Autobahn, maybe we'll see a Bundesliga cross coming up
There
here.
you go. I've seen a few good ones already.
Yeah.
Great ball.
Headed to Bank, back to goal. Bank chipping one in, headed off by Carmichael. Oh, looked like the net was open momentarily. Shot was blocked back in and cleared by Roby. And the Cardinal chomping at the bit there. Clary. And that took a deflection.
Great flurry of attacking football from Stanford. When you look at the sequence, comes down, little snaps it down. Clever right here, carves out space. Nice little combination to get on it. He knows where he wants to play. Good challenge. Drops here. He's looking at it on the half bounce. And you got to say that Cal's been extremely good defensively in their box.
Certainly been some strong defensive play from the Golden Bears to keep this goalless to this point. Agostinelli on the corner. Off the head of Hughes.
Well done.
Carlo. Working on Roby and Estrada and earns a throw-in. As a couple of subs will come on. Kwabena Kwakwa and Connor Evans for the Cardinal. Tate Dolan for the Golden Bears.
Number 17, Connor Evans, and number 23, Kwabena Kwakwa.
So it's Bank and Riley to the bench for the Cardinal. Ibrahim is being withdrawn for Cal. Kwakwa has an assist this year from Ghana. And earns a corner. Part of the Right to Dream Academy, which is the same place that produced Buddha.
Buddha. I think you can go to any corner in Ghana and find a national team.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. They've produced so many great players.
Very nearly became the first African side to the World Cup semis back in 2010. Agostinelli.
Got to say that nice hit. You can see he's going for it all. Good idea. You know, just change it up a little bit. We say you need variation in attack. This is going to sit up there in the air, and it looks like candy for him. He doesn't get the right follow through. George Lamptey, one of the legend Ghana players, one of my good friends. George, who played with Pelé. Stefan Apia was an amazing. I tried to bring him to the United States. He played in Galatasaray, Juventus. Also, you know, Michael Essie and so many great players. So we have a lot of them that play in the U.S. in MLS. So Stanford has that connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go on the recruiting trip with Jeremy next time. You know, just learn a couple dance moves in Ghana. Because they have some of the best videos now that you have social media.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I always joke with Kai Kamara from Sierra Leone, because he played for Sierra Leone, and he's posting everything. And he's one of my favorites. Third all-time scorer in MLS. Still playing in Montreal.
This is Kwakwa. Silly.
See, to our conversation earlier, Kevin, I don't think that Cal was really pressing well in the attacking third, but defensively, you know, being hard to break down, even though they've given multiple amount of shots on goal, they haven't given good ones. They put enough pressure defensively, they've sagged in there. Although they did have that 10-minute spell where they got a lot of opportunities.
DeFlores. Still in the box.
Well done.
Silly.
Another corner.
Cardinal racking up the corners. This will be their 7th. But Cal defended 17 corners in a match against San Diego State and won 2-0. So they've had their moments where they've been very good defending corners. That one goes high for a goal kick, as that might have been the last bit of attacking work for the Cardinal here in the first half. Colin Travasos in no hurry.
Well, I was talking to Jeremy Gunn, and he said, you know, if we can score the early goal, then it opens up the opponent. Then they're obligated to come out. They got to chase the game, and that is conducive to the way Stanford's playing. So it's a matter of getting that first goal.
Well, it won't come for the Cardinal in the first half.
4, 3, 2, 1.
As we have played 45 and we are goalless. The Cardinal out shooting Cal 13-4, out cornering them 7-4, but the Golden Bears have been very stout defensively. We'll take a break. Cal and Stanford 0-0 at the half. We got a 0-0 match through 45 minutes, but still 45 to play, getting ready for the start of the second half between Cal and 6th-ranked Stanford. Saturday, folks, it's a can't-miss Pac-12 football conference triple header. Don't miss any of the excitement and unpredictability on a full day of non-stop gridiron action. Coverage begins Saturday at 10 a.m. on Pac-12 Network, or download and stream each game live wherever you might be with Pac-12 Now. It starts with Oregon State at Utah. That'll be a good one. Cal, Wazoo, and Colorado, Arizona. The nightcap. We got a nightcap here.
Absolutely.
8 p.m. match start time.
Partidazo.
Part of the double header of men's soccer on Pac-12 networks. How about Oregon State getting the 1-0 win at UCLA? The Bruins entering this week ranked 21st in the nation, the United Soccer Coaches top 25. And Washington is putting off the finishing touches on San Diego State, up 2-0 in the 88th minute.
Jamie Clark.
Doing a great job with the 2nd-ranked Huskies.
Former Stanford great, playing under his father and legend, Bobby Clark. Yeah, UW is for real, and they're going to be here late October. It'll be fun to cover that one.
All right, second half is underway. Sully, what are you going to be looking for from both teams as we start the second half?
Well, I'm looking for Cal now. They've stayed in the game. Now let's see if they can step it up. You know, normally you see capitulation of opponents against Stanford on the physical attributes starting to kick in. I haven't seen any of that. So they've been strong, resolute, resilient in a sense. They've given 13 shots in the beginning, 7 corners. You know, how would they respond if they concede a goal? But on the transition, you've seen that they're a dangerous proposition through the feet of Ari Mabua and also Ibrahim. So.
Yeah, UCLA and San Diego State certainly played for draws once that got to latter stages of the second half. And really, Jeremy Gunn saying that the Cardinal were much better against UCLA and San Diego State than they were against UC Santa Barbara, but they went home happy against UC Santa Barbara.
Absolutely. This player I love. For me, he's a sensation. That's my kind of player right there, Will Riley. I mean, over the years, I've always said it was certain Basti, Jordan Morris in his early days when he was there as well. I love, you know, sometimes he was played a little too high. He'd come back deep and he'd make those slaloms and show his mobility. But this kid has everything. He's a cracking player, number 20.
You always make a lot of apt comparisons with college players to kind of a pro equivalent.
Yeah.
Who do you like in Will Riley, too?
You know, it's different. He's a little quicker than, he's similar to Joe Max Moore. You know, he was a Hall of Famer from the U.S. national team, played in several World Cups. For me, was an outstanding player at UCLA who played for Ziggy Schmidt. He reminds me, you know, he's not just vertical and one-dimensional. He's got so many dimensions to his game, but he's got that flair in touch.
Guzman.
And the interesting thing is they played him to the right, as I said at the top of the broadcast, that, you know, like Michael Laudrup, you know, who's a genius player from Denmark who played at Ajax, who was a the number 10 for Barcelona and Real Madrid. You know, Guardiola would say one of the greatest players he played with. They played him on the side at Ajax. And that's what they're doing here. Jeremy Gunn said, how do I get him on the field? Keep the other two central functional guys in the middle, and Cam Seeley and Mark Fisher, and then let this guy create. So they're trying to find him more in central channels.
Doyle. Keel. See, Wyatt Meyer back out there. He has a wrap around his head. Nicely shaped ball out to Ibrahim via Adi Mabua. And Ibrahim is tackled. We play on. Keegan Tingy.
Look at the open space here. Great location.
And tried to send a through ball there to Jackson Keel. The door got closed. There's Meyer. Went out in the first half.
I like the start from both sides. I mean, you see that Stanford's amped up when Liam Doyle tried to locate and link in to the top. It was a little hard to touch. But again, you're getting the response from Cal. Cal playing as a team. A little more direct in transition, but why not? If they can play into the feet of Ademabua.
Yeah, you're like a long
Center of the park, taken away by Estrada. Kind of got held up.
Super.
Roby. And popped high there by Cleary, and then a foul on Will Cleary. So a set piece from a dangerous area coming up for the Golden Bears.
And you wonder if this is a makeup call from the other side of Ibrahim, which was questionable if he was fouled. For me, this wasn't a foul. But the one on the other side where Ibrahim had played it around, it looked like it could have been. So sometimes you get a makeup call, you know, one side to the other. A big opportunity for Cal here against the run of play. I think Stanford came out flying on all cylinders. But you see, again, the resilience and how resolute Cal is. The numbers behind the ball, swarming at the right time. Estrada, I can't speak enough to how good he was to be able to locate that little link up on the left side.
Three-man wall for the Cardinal. It'll be Gomez looking back post.
Yeah, he overcooked it. And I think on free kicks, you know, you want to take your opportunities, give yourself a chance always. You see it so often that you get an opportunity to look like this, and you just got to drop that in the mixer. You know, to give your teammates, you got 3 or 4 players. Look at Adi Mabu, he's a little disappointed with the hands up. Say, hey, give us a chance. You know?
A goal kick here from Matt Frank.
Almost in this game as well, why not have a strike? You know, you got the slick grass right there. It's juicy, it's slick, and you get any kind of rebound there.
You'd go for goal there?
Yeah, I mean, if you have the right guys that can strike the ball, you know, we've already seen that. Martinez can, Guzman can.
Great ball forward.
From Guzman.
That's Rohan McElligott, who hasn't played a whole lot this year. He's a freshman from Irvine. Just his second match appearance of the season. Getting the second half start. So things changed up a little bit. Adi Mabua and McElligott up top for the Golden Bears.
Yeah, great step up here from Carmichael a moment ago. On that last counter from Stanford, he steps up, he plays into Adi Mabua. He actually should have elected to play and combine with Rohan up top. Good flick. So this is the surge that you're looking for from Cal. This is the response. They made it into the changing room at halftime, 0-0. And then see this ball right here. It's all about the timing. Just misjudges it. He's trying to take it with his chest and beat the keeper. That one you got to use your feet. It's one touch to beat him. It's a placement. Great ball though.
McElligott gets back on it. Showing off his speed. Nicely tackled there by Adnan. Got a few strong defensive plays. That's center back here for the Cardinal. Foul at the center of the park, going against Singer.
I'll tell you, number 15, Will Cleary, this guy gets up and down, but his recovery speed is impressive.
Physicality picking up, as you would expect. In a match of this magnitude between Bay Area rivals.
Bet you.
This is Riley. Working on Singer. Silly, headed out by Meyer.
Good call. Yep. And I think, again, for me, at this point in the match, I've been impressed from the two young guys. You know, Bank on the left, Fletcher Bank, but Riley for me is the best player on the field. You know, the way he's moving, he's consistent, he's slashing, he's got that eye for goal, he's driving into the area. You can get behind a player like that. And so lifts the other players as well, the teammates.
And he's standing over the ball now.
No indecision.
Riley. Bending one back post, punched away confidently by Travassos. Sent in, look at back post. Keegan Hughes headed out. Adnan on that final touch.
Wow, huge opportunity here. You see Adnan.
You're right, it's 45.
Watch the reaction here. He stretches Hughes, and he looks like he's redirecting it back. He doesn't have an eye. You know, that's got to be a palomita on the ground, a diving header. Don't get many looks like that.
Well, the Cardinal, they did score twice in their last match against UC Santa Barbara, but solely they've played more than 230 minutes of Pac-12 soccer and conference action, and they've yet to score a goal. Do you think that's playing in the back of their minds at all?
No, I think they're just waiting for the first goal. They're doing everything right, but you're finding that, you know, this is why the goal scorers drive the Ferraris, man. It's the toughest thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be clinical. You got to be composed. Like that situation there, that's a, I don't want to call it a sitter, but a guy who's good in the air with his head. He's got to snap that down. And he's looking at a goal right there.
They've come very near a few times in Pac-12 play this year, but
I think once they do get the first goal, to your question, the floodgates will open.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a matter, we've seen versions of Stanford before where they can hit 3, 4, 5 goals in short order.
Yeah, I mean, they won 5-0 against Cal last year.
Exactly.
Right here, Larry Q. Kagan. So a free kick here for the Golden Bears, a chance to send numbers forward. With Guzman to take the free kick. Plays it low.
Well done from Guzman. And one thing I'll say is, though, both the distribution and the service on those last two were just phenomenal. So, I mean, it's a big part of the equation. There were years before where Stanford could make something out of nothing. Now the service is there. That's half of it. Great touch.
Mabua.
You see what he wanted to do. He measured the last one where he shot poorly. In the first half of this one, he's swinging for the fences.
That'll earn him some jeers from the Cardinal crowd.
Look out, though. When top forwards do that, they come back with a stunner. You know, they can have a cracking goal right after.
He's got a rocket of a right leg. So if he's able to shape it correctly, watch out. Singer. Losing it, Doyle. Keegan Tingy chipping one in, but nobody there. Doyle down, slow to get up. Yep.
Well, before that action where, you know, the challenge comes through on Doyle, Doyle actually had gotten away with grabbing.
Yeah.
And it was right in front of the linesman. He didn't call it. Then he robs the ball and he comes in. That's why I think the Cal player came through and said, okay, I'm coming through.
Little vigilante justice. Should be a goal kick here for Frank. Stanford outshot San Diego State 23-3 in a goalless draw. Outshot UCLA 15-2. That was also a goalless draw, and right now out shooting Cal 14-5. Still looking for their first conference goal. Sent in, and
And I think, again, part of the equation, they're doing everything right except the final clinical and ability to finish. And you look at Foster Langsdorff, this one he lets go. Interesting. Jordan Morris, you know, you can go on with all the goal scorers they've had over the years. Basti, you know, who's a little more of a fantasista. Zach Ryan as well. Yeah, Zach Ryan was a great one and then turned pro.
New York Red Bulls.
Yeah, I love Zach Ryan. I mean, there were times that you just say, hey, this is a chance. This is a moment where Ryan's going to score, and 2 seconds later, he'd score.
Yeah.
You know? But not to say the quality is a little bit different, but you need that killer instinct. And that has to be cultivated with some of the young players.
This is Estrada. Long diagonal ball taken down by Roby. There's Cleary to clean it up. Be a throw in for Cal.
Cleary's one of the best wide defenders I've seen on the farm for a while.
And the funny thing about that is he's a midfielder by trade.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Jeremy Gunn told him,
he said, hey, we can get you on the pitch if you play a different position.
Exactly.
And, you know, good for Jeremy to do that because football's about, you know, finding a way with the players, the strengths that you have.
Guzman goes to ground. Play on. McElligott showing off his speed. He gets there. Just his second match of the season.
Lovely. Uh-oh.
Ibrahim on the shot. Just high. A worthy attempt from number 7.
And that's where the magic comes through his feet. Ibrahim slashes right at the top. Just has a great eye for goal. Look at the speed and explosive acceleration playing at the far post.
3 goals for him this year, a career high. Scored twice 2 years ago. 1 goal as a junior, 1 goal as a freshman for the senior.
Well, you see, though, he comes to life when he comes into the big area.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's what you want from your strikers.
McElligott for Estrada. Something brewing here for the Bears. Jonah Estrada on his left takes a deflection, saved. And Cal
very much in the game.
Yes.
With that type of attack there. I mean, you look at the ball that got dropped down. Frank tries to deal with it with punching. He's got to punch that wide.
Parking the bus, the Golden Bears are not.
Unlucky.
They're throwing here for the Golden Bears.
Leonard Griffin had said, we don't want to get in a track meet, but look at this opportunity. A little scissor, and he's got that eye poised at the far post.
And Nanso Adimabua has just been booked. Shown a yellow, and he is livid. His teammates kind of got to save him from himself. So, our first booking of the match coming here in the 61st minute. Just past the hour mark.
Leonard Griffin, this is what you want to see. I mean, you don't want bookings, right? You got to yell it, but you want, sometimes this invigorates your team. You know, you want your forward in the match, and he's telling the back line, I'm in this. It's going to be a long night for you. That's certainly what Adimabua is doing. That's what you want to see out of your striker. I think Rohan has made some great quick turns, link up, laying balls off, getting forward, exploding into the open spaces.
Hold up for some reason. I'm not sure if they want to get the clock corrected.
And I think the next sub is going to be interesting from Jeremy Gunn. You know, because this has to be the ace up his sleeve to see how do you counter now with what Cal is bringing.
So they moved the clock back 13 seconds. So officially that yellow card given in the 60th minute. As we resume work. Adimabua. There's Wyatt Meyer trying to turn to his left and taken away.
Great tackle.
The Cardinal showing its defensive prowess. This
Super
is
football.
Estrada still on it. Estrada.
Wonderful football from Cal right now. I mean, they're in the trenches, quick passing, everything's tight. Nice couple rolls and quick combinations and acceleration. Stanford was just a fraction, a cusp off releasing into open field there. But Cal kept the pressure in there. Wonderful anticipation.
Corner kick, Cal, number 11, Adrian.
This is Guzman standing over the ball in the far corner flag. Bends it in and headed away by Silly. Back in. So some subs in for Stanford, and it'll be Carlo Agostinelli and Shane DeFlores on for the Cardinal. So they're on for Doyle and Keel, like for like subs for Jeremy Gunn. Fisher a long ball forward. Gomez collecting for Cal.
Great pressure from Stanford here. Ooh.
Riley, nice ball for DeFlores. DeFlores still on it. He'll have a say, and it rolls into the back of the net.
Amazing
and the
goal.
Cardinal take a 1-0 lead in the second half. Shane DeFlores in the 63rd.
Golazo de Flores. Amazing little slalom right here. Here's the cut, razor cut, far post. He says this is the way you do it. Genius sub from Jeremy Gunn. Pays dividends immediate out of the gate. And you look at the pressure. Slaloms like Alberto Tomba in the attacking third. An amazing finish. What a goal. What an important goal.
Sully, you were just saying this next sub for Stanford is going to be important. And you know what? I'd say it was a pretty important sub.
Well, I think Jeremy Gunn by design as well. That first ball that was played into the attacking third, you saw 3 players press. They were able to win the ball up the pitch further. And there was that one head from Cal that went into the middle. That's the one area you don't want to redirect a header. And it was robbed from Stanford. They were off to the races. And then you look at the agility and composure of the young DeFlores. One of his biggest goals, bar none.
Second goal of the season, and it could be the game winner, but plenty of soccer to be played.
Up to that moment, it was all Cal for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Bank.
Big teams score great goals in big moments, and we just saw that right there. You know, I thought that Cal came out the second half, really was playing toe-to-toe, taking the attacking initiative, and with that impetus into the final third. And then you saw the 2 subs right there. Fantastic adjustment and good recognition from Jeremy Gunn to put the right players in to make the difference.
Well, it took 4 hours of conference play, but Stanford does finally get their first goal in Pac-12 action. And they're looking for more, always hungry for more goals, the Jeremy Gunn side. Agostinelli on the corner. Looking back, post, headed off the line. I believe that was Carmichael who got ahead to it.
I think something we talked about earlier, you had mentioned, you know, part of the story of Stanford and great champion teams, and this one in particular, is the goals come from multiple players, different players. That's when you know you have a great team. This type of match, you know, is it Keegan Hughes? Is it Carlo? No. It's the young boy who comes in, slaloms. And Jeremy was talking to me about him before the game. He said, you'll like this player. He's your kind of player. it's a matter of, you know, Michael Jordan hit that one bucket that made his career different. This is the type of goal that can send him in a different stratosphere.
Agostinelli on another corner, out swinging ball, headed out by Adi Mabua, but it was out before it got there. To your point, Soli, so Stanford has had 8 different goal scorers this year, and 5 of them have come from underclassmen.
Yes. I mean, last year was a uncharacteristic year for Stanford, 6-6 and 6. So you got to have a. And I mean, Jeremy was telling me about this class a few years ago. He said in a couple of years we're going to have a class coming in because, you know, like you mentioned, Atlanta United. You're looking in different markets.
Yep.
Than the usual players to bring them in, and now the new players that are coming into Stanford. I mean, I'm blown away from the 2 wide guys, and then DeFlores as well. Just the composure and the recognition to go in and take that the way he did was impressive.
Yeah. 5 of the 8 goal scorers underclassmen for the Cardinal this year. That was the second for DeFlores. Nice, intriguing ball forward for Estrada. Couldn't get there.
But having said that, Cal has stepped up in the second half.
Yeah.
You're seeing the quality. Again, this is a work in progress. This is a new rebuild under Leonard Griffin. This guy puts together great teams.
It's a good ball forward for Roby. Cam Roby staying on it. Looking for Adi Mabua, and nearly an own goal. Fahmi Ibrahim buries it in the back of the net, and we are level at 1 in the 66th minute.
He did the old C. Ibrahim, Fahmi Ibrahim, he responds in great fashion. Look at this. He comes back with a right. A miss hit here, complete miss hit. Keeper does well, but he follows through, rides the tackle, and just volleys this in. What a massive goal. And an incredible response from Cal.
And then goes and celebrates in front of the Forest, the Stanford student supporter section. Oh, that has to feel so sweet for a Golden Bear. And he now has the team lead in goals all to himself this year with his 4th. Throw in here for Stanford, and this match, it was already intriguing, but it's really come to life now.
Yeah, it's a pity for Stanford because it was a miscontrol at that far post. There's so many options you can do, and it's coming so quick. Again, you got to give credit to the ball. He's trying to play it in with his left, and he comes back with the outside of his right and just plays a totally different. I was talking about variation. That's how you surprise the defense. It was a great surprise. Wonderful clip in at that back post.
Another corner kick here for the Cardinal, their 10th. It'll be Agostinelli again. Ball comes in, near post flick goes just wide for Keegan Hughes.
Well, you see the quality of Hughes here. Great delivery, impeccable timing with the run. He's taking a look, just a glance, bird's eye view, and there's the flick. Who's at the back post? And just, you've got to make an adjustment. There's got to be another run for that second opportunity there, but wonderful flick.
That's the one thing Jeremy Gunn says about Agostinelli. His service is so consistent. His teammates know exactly where that ball's going.
And I think part of the deception is the short approach on the corner. If it's just 2 steps, you can deceive the defense.
Fisher switching the point of attack to Adnan, and now Tingy. Bank chipping one in. DeFlores, what a save, Travassos! Nearly a double there for Shane DeFlores, but not on Travassos' watch.
What a ball from Bank again. Phenomenal.
Very nearly his 5th assist. Agostinelli
Ole.
gets around Roby, goes to ground, and
there's
a yellow.
Good football from Stanford, insisting, I mean, at full speed, total velocity. Watch Fletcher bank right here. Watch his hips right here. To get this ball where he does, he plays it amazing. Right here, you get a snap header opportunity. Fantastic save at the far post. What a wonderful ball. Incredible cross.
And the 6th save for Travassos. So a Golden Bear has gone into the book. I believe it was shown to Roby. Initially, he showed it to Jack Singer, and Jack's like, I wasn't involved in the play. Actually, now it's going on Colin Travassos. He was having a bit of a shouting match with our referee. So here's Agostinelli. Free kick. Looking back post, headed away. Silly blocked. Riley sends it in. Good ball, Hughes. And the rebound given up just missed. Oh, very nearly 2-1 again for the Cardinal.
Mamma mia, incredible.
How has this stayed 1-1? A tricky ball for Travassos to deal with.
Great ball from Riley. Again.
DeFlores is in.
DeFlores got sweet feet right there. But again, to miss that opportunity, you got to take a page from Fahmi Ibrahim. Watch this ball, clever ball. Here's the snap hitter, just kissed off the bar. Now he's standing right there. You got to come flying through. And instead he reaches without the momentum of his body.
And that was Adnan
Unlucky.
who just missed. Could have had his second goal of the half right there. No more chatting. And Roby and Travassos were both booked on that previous yellow that was shown. Just to clean that up. Here is Agostinelli headed down and saved off the line by Estrada.
What a tackle. Clever.
Silly for DeFlores. To his left. Chipped in and headed by Riley. And that one finds the back of the net. The Cardinal taking a 2-1 lead. Will Riley with the goal.
What a tidal wave of emotion. Wave after wave of attacking pressure. Here's the in-swinger, deflected. And for me, the best player on the field right here, Will Riley, golazo. And he did it the way I talked about it. Palomita, the diving header. There it is. The diving header, quasi-diving header, but a massive goal. Unbelievable game we have. This is an incredible match. Cal coming back, equalizing. Stanford pushing, relentless. That's the spirit and characteristic. Cal hasn't let up. They played this amazing, but that over my dead body attitude from Stanford is so impressive. Kevin.
Whew. Second of the year for Riley, third of his career.
And what stands out for me, Kevin, there is all those opportunities where they can blast and they have the composure to link up and actually relay around to the left. That was super impressive.
All right, now let's see what Cal has for a response. They struck back very quickly the first time with Fahmi Ibrahim. About 3 minutes later, now a couple of players down, one aside. Looks like that is Fahmi Ibrahim for Cal and Keegan Tingy for Stanford.
Ibrahim holding his head. You don't like to see that near the temple area.
Hopefully both are all right.
Well, you see, since the intensity has picked up, it's definitely, this game has intensity, it's electric, energy, everything you want from a Clásico from these two teams.
Yeah.
But yet the football's been great. I mean, they're composed. See clinical touches, nice technique, good build-up, and players, young players.
Yeah.
You know, it's so impressive to see the players that they've brought into these two institutions. I'm very, very impressed.
All right, here's what happened. Looked like maybe that arm got high from Tiggy to...
Well, Tingy, it's a matter of, I think, his back, the way he's come down, perhaps. He was stretching on his knee, so it might have been his back. It's the other side with.
I think he inadvertently caught Ibrahim.
He caught
with
Ibrahim,
that arm.
in the head, yeah.
Yeah, Ibrahim still down.
Part of that was the way that he was trying to balance his body on the way down. You know, the arm gets up there. That's the one that gives you the balance. I don't think he was intentionally throwing his elbow out at all.
Yeah, no, it certainly didn't look to be intentional. And good to see Fahmy get up and walk under his own power.
But that's why Adi Mabul was over there complaining to the referees. He's saying, hey, that's a card and so forth. He's looking. So there's been a lot of talk in less than 15 minutes between them.
What else would you expect in a Clásico, right?
Yeah, I mean, the real Clásico when you saw Sergio Ramos and Messi going at it and now they're teammates at Paris Saint-Germain. What's happened?
How about that? Nate Carrasco's going to come on for Fahmy Ibrahim.
And for foul number 22, Nate Carrasco.
They had also recently subbed on Juan Martinez for Adrian Guzman.
And I thought silently Guzman was very clever with his distribution, and he also had the passing range to release out of those defensive blocks that they were in. So we'll see how that changes. Of course, Juan Martinez was the one who released Ibrahim the other day against St. Mary's. What's so interesting, though, you talked about it earlier, is the young boys are the ones that have come up with the important goals here.
McElligott. Young boys, a good soccering side.
Absolutely. Great challenge.
Agostinelli.
Agostinelli was waiting for Fletcher Banks. That was a little bit deeper there. He hesitated.
This is Carrasco carrying into space. Trying to pick out Wyatt Meyer, but Bank tracks back defensively. Tingy taken to turf.
Yep, here's a late card.
Yeah, Carrasco is going to get booked.
And it's not often that you see the whole staff of Stanford jump off the bench.
Yeah.
Jump 2-3 feet. Great decision, though. He was allowing the play to continue. He was playing on advantage and came back and carded him, hooked him. You'll see right here, I mean, Fletcher Bank came all the way back, releases with a perfect, and there's the late hit. There it doesn't look as bad.
You agree with the booking?
Yeah, absolutely. But what I'm still blown away from is Fletcher Bank made a 30-yard recovery run there, robbed the ball, and then released him the other way on the counter.
Quite impressive.
Man, there was Andy Toma, who played with the University of Washington, had that kind of engine. But this kid has a different, he's like Pavel Nedved, you know, from Juventus. When people were running the Cooper run in under 12, he's doing like 10 minutes. You know? Lance Armstrong type lungs.
Bank working on Gomez. Cardinal. No, this isn't done, and certainly some insurance would help. Nearly
those are tough.
had it on by the
service.
Yeah.
Those crosses are difficult to deal with for Cal.
Cleary. Diagonal ball for Tingy. It'll be laid off for Bank. Back post. Singer gets the first head to it.
I love this kid.
O'Reilly.
See, I mean, I could see in a first touch tonight. Now he's giving a little sugar, you know, a little fantasy on the outside for the fans. You know, the step overs, the turns, and I mean, that's what you want to see. Especially, I'm gonna have to call a psychiatrist to talk to him about the U.S. team playing against Japan.
Oh,
and then playing in Spain against Saudi Arabia. You need that expression. We have the players. You know, allow the players to release themselves. Don't play a system.
The United States certainly not entering the World Cup on a happy note.
It's going to be tough to flick a switch.
Wales, England, and Iran for the United States in their group. Agostinelli. Sends it in. Headed out by Carrasco. Comes down edge of the area. Now Cal looking to counter with Wyatt Meyer. Options and goes to McElligott.
Great touch.
Nice touch indeed. Rohan McElligott. Clever play. Nonso Adimabua runs into a wall of black jerseys, and he has been shown a red card. So Cal will have to come back a man down, and he is still irate. He got a yellow in the 59th minute, and now he's sent off.
Well, this was a great step in right there, and he gets thrown down. Actually, the ref has done well. He's 5 yards away from him, and it's frustration. Again, it's a pity because he's a special player. I mean, he's fun
really
to watch.
is.
He's just magic when he's around the area, and you see the frustration. Tell you what, Adimabua, Maradona did it against Brazil in '82. A lot of great players have done that. They lose their cool, but you don't want to let your team down. And you see, he's their biggest star in my eyes, Ibrahim as well. The frustration kicked in. It's a long walk back to the coach, the manager. But we see the talent. I mean, this kid is loaded with talent.
Yeah, the stats don't really tell the full story with Nonso Adimabua.
His first move, he had an incredible fake and feint, and then all of a sudden, the story about Stanford, and I think that Cal's done the same thing, is the numerical superiority, defending together, hunting in packs, being there for your other teammate in those little kind of movements, and that frustrated him. He thought that he was on his way for a good look to goal.
Looks like Estrada will take his place up top, and now Sully, if you got a quarter hour to go, you're down a goal and down a man. How do you attack this if you're the Golden Bears?
Well, at first you got to weather the storm because Stanford's not going to take their foot off the pedal knowing Jeremy Gunn, right? So you got to make sure that you, for 5-10 minutes, that you find the balance and you don't concede a third. If you were a betting man, the odds on would be that Stanford will find the back of the net before Cal will. But I've seen crazier things, especially here. I've seen teams come in here and score in these type of situations. So you got to make sure if you're Stanford that you're also staying sharp.
Cal gave up 2 goals up a man against Cal State Fullerton in the season opener. Maybe they can flip the script here, down a man. It was a 3-1 loss to the Titans.
I think for Cal, the defense, they've been leaned on, impressed all night, and they're finally going to break. I mean, it was so impressive that they didn't break earlier on, particularly in the first half. So they can play football. There's no doubt about that. This time you got to stay together. It'll be a good challenge for Cal.
Silly takes it down with his chest. Here's DeFlores, and off the crossbar. Agostinelli just wide as he has a crack at it.
Yeah, that Carlo would want that back, that opportunity. He elected to use his instep there. It's to the inside of the foot in its placement. Again, this is great work from Shane. DeFlores right here. He's turning. He's just kind of menacing. It gets a deflection, surprises the keeper, hits the post. He comes running in to put pressure, and then he'd like another opportunity at that. He's trying to come through the ball with the instep, mishits it. Much like the first half we saw earlier.
Shohei Honda back on.
And to your question earlier, they're not expecting a red card. So the coaches have to get their bearings and make the right adjustment so the composition is balanced. And now I think this is a move that gives them an opportunity somewhat.
Cardinal out on the break. DeFlores had the first goal of the match.
Kitoke.
Trying to play on Tingy.
Penalty.
And a penalty coming up here in the 77th minute, and this could get really dicey for the Golden Bears.
Well, I love this overlap right here. And you just see the last part of it. Before that, he had, oh, that's close. But before that, he had made a nice little cutback, and that little cutback was able to separate the run. Fantastic connection, again, from the young. De Flores has come in, and he's been a game changer. Not just for the goal, his movements to goal, the passing, the accelerations, the exquisite touches, phenomenal.
So this is Cam Silly standing over the spot. Hasn't scored yet this year. Actually hasn't scored in his career.
Well, this is the one where you want to have ice in the veins. You know, get a good approach, finish this, and you're 3-1.
Can Travasos keep the Golden Bears in this match? Silly makes his approach. 3-1 Cardinal, confidently struck by Cam Silly for his first career goal.
Well, that's a big one. Cool as a cucumber. Silly steps up, ice in the veins. I love the approach and the change of speed. Takes a little breath, knows what he wants to do, comes at it fast, opens up the hips. Buona noche. Good night. Fantastic finish. This is the big goal for Silly.
Yeah, just tucked it into that back corner. Doesn't get better than that.
And we were just talking earlier about Stanford getting that first goal and the floodgates will open. And there's a mental chip in all the players here under Jeremy Gunn. I mean, you don't become champions the way that they have 3 times in a row. The players they produce, unless you have that mentality, one thing they do extremely well is they keep the foot on the pedal. And they start smelling blood. Once they get that first goal, they're looking for the second, third.
Well, live standings wise, if this result holds, Stanford will jump into first place in the Pac-12 with UCLA's loss to Oregon State. Cal's on 3 points. Stanford would be on 5, UCLA on 4, Oregon State with 3, and Washington with 3. San Diego State with 1. Mami Ibrahim, good to see him back out on the pitch. This is Estrada, takes a shot.
Great strike.
Very worthy attempt indeed from distance.
And he's probably not 100% Estrada, but you can see the quality that he possesses. Look at the quick reaction. I'm still blown away from Cleary. Estrada just takes one touch. It's the half rhythm that he's looking to sneak that in the near post. Clever.
Yeah, he missed a good chunk of the beginning of the season. He was coming off an injury. This is his 4th match, 2nd start. Silly. Looking for another, perhaps. It's Riley on the other end of it. One timing it into the back of the net, and the Cardinal pouring it on here late in the second half.
Poured it on is right. Creme de la creme right there. That's putting the icing on the cake. Look at the explosive acceleration, the awareness, and the thoughtfulness of this pass. Sugar, caviar on a plate. Caviar. And then there's my favorite player tonight, Riley, coming through with a second goal. And this one he does not miss. Golazo.
4-1 Stanford. Riley with a brace.
What a pass, though.
Oh, man.
Immaculate, impeccable. Having the presence of mind to explode into that area right there, and it's just exquisite outside of the foot on a plate. Golazo.
Well, the Cardinal PA system playing Flux Pavilion's I Can't Stop, and it's apropos because the Cardinal right now can't stop scoring goals.
Again, you know, the score, the result is not telling the true story of this game at first. Cal was in the game very much. The red card affects it. But this talks a lot to the character of this team from Stanford. I think that this team is going to grow, you know, be in front of our eyes like other versions we've seen of Stanford. You know, it's a young team. Jeremy Gunn has to have a lot of faith. And again, I told you, he seemed very confident, you know, and relaxed before the game.
Well, after this, the Cardinal will play 5 straight away from Kagan. as they hit the road to the Pacific Northwest.
That's right. They're going to play
Much like Cal will.
Oregon State, Terry Boss. I mean, they've always put together amazing teams. University of Washington. I mean, to watch Stanford and Washington is like...
Yeah, that'll be a good one. Top 10 battle, likely. Cal turning it over there. Here's a
Beautiful.
Gastinelli. That will be a booking on Jack Singer.
Stanford want to go.
Yeah,
Even after
yeah.
there, you know, there's little principles and trademarks of teams that you can see, but one thing that I love seeing is the quick restarts. Anytime the whistle blown, they're looking to go. They're looking to attack.
Yeah.
They're looking for an edge. And teams that I've always tried to put my impact on too, the same thing. It's so beautiful to see that.
The Cardinal gonna bring on the reserves. Their next throw-in or goal kick. Here's Riley. Could he get a hat trick? Plays this one off.
Great ball.
Tingy. Keegan Tingy with the right.
Stanford this year much better at recycling, you know, relaying the ball around after those balls that are deflected outside the area. Normally you see a direct strike, you know, where they're shooting on goal. And the likelihood of that, the percentages of that scoring aren't as good. And they're very calm, composed on a collective level, swinging that back around. That's how they score the first goal.
Well, here comes the cavalry for the Cardinal.
It makes your job fun, right?
Nolan Evers, number 24. Connor Evans, number 17. Aiden Weaver, number 18. Kwabena Kwakwa back out there, as is Liam Doyle. Zach Bohane in as well. And also Connor Maurer, the junior, who will take Adnan's spot at center back. Keegan Hughes is basically the only starter still out there. Ryan Dunn also in at one outside back spot. So that's what it looks like. I wonder if perhaps Elliott Jones will get some minutes here. The backup keeper for the Cardinals. A foul is called against the Cardinal, and Cal, they're not just going to sit on this. A yellow given to the Cardinal.
Well, it's an opportunity to give players that haven't had as much time an opportunity in a big match, you know, and a perfect time to do it because they're,
Yeah.
you know, Cal has 10 men, but they're still going to have the same kind of intensity and opportunity going forward.
So here's Gomez, fifth-year senior from Anaheim. Good ball in. Carmichael.
Tell you what, the hardest thing to do is when you come into a game, everyone's on the 280 on the freeway. They're all going 75 miles an hour. 80.
Yeah.
You step in, you can't come in at 40.
No.
So you got to come in higher, like 95, and then you settle in.
Yeah.
You know, it's the toughest thing in this type of game. You think you're coming to a game that you have the upper hand 4-1, but the opponent is playing at a high clip. So you got to make sure that you match that speed. And I think if we're grading Shane DeFlores coming in, what an impact he made.
Meanwhile, on for Cal, Fernando Andrade, who writes a blog for CalBears.com, Fair Play. Also has his own podcast, Denting with Fer Andrade.
What a great name, too. I read his last blog. Good writer.
Yeah, very good writer indeed. See the foul here coming up. Right there.
That's called a hospital ball. It had a Band-Aid on it as he was laying that off to his teammate.
But well, one thing that Andrade wrote in his last blog is he said, it's hard to think of a better man for the job, talking about Leonard Griffin taking over. And one thing Leonard Griffin said about this team is that what he really liked, they drew 3 matches in a row, and a couple of them they lost the win in the last 5 minutes, if you will, giving up late goals, including one with 4 seconds to go. But he really liked the way his team bounced back from those situations. And now they're going to have another situation after this match in which they will likely lose, save for a big-time comeback, but they'll have another chance to respond to adversity after this match. Well, here's Aiden Weaver, midfielder from Pennsylvania. Elizabethtown's finest, setting up Ryan Dunn. Did not take a deflection.
Weaver.
And now a slew of subs for Cal, including a goalie change, and we are seeing the collegiate debut of Marco Brocker.
In Stanford.
And
Goalkeeper change.
yeah, Elliot Jones in at
right.
keeper for Stanford. Marco Brocker, a freshman from Los Altos Hills.
Everybody wins. Are you sure this isn't a Warriors game you're broadcasting?
Yeah, everybody's getting in here. Here's a guy, Marco Brocker, who also formerly competed in alpine skiing and was nationally ranked in the sport. Also, of course, very good soccer player and the main backup to Travassos. Also a ton of other subs in for Cal that we will get to. Did want to mention it's the collegiate debut for one Marco Brocker. Also in Santiago Hopkins, number 29. And we're seeing for the first time in a Cal uniform, George Abuna, a graduate defender, grad transfer from Boston U.
All right.
So some more debuts being made here. And there's Fernando Lara defending Liam Doyle. Evans
What a
to
ball.
De Flores,
Golazo.
and he's on a double with the snap header across the face of goal, and Shane De Flores makes it 5-1 Stanford.
What service right here from Connors. Look at this in-swinger, pinpoint on a dime, and that's from about 12 yards out. Snap header, earmarked at that far post. Golazo.
A little azucar on that one.
Absolutely. What a player, what a night. I mean, some breakthrough performances from the young boys. Riley, who I told you, outstanding performance, amazing player. And then this player came in and changed the game, De Flores. I mean, he's got that smell, he's got that scent, he's got that ability for the goal. And he comes to life again. That's when you tell that you have a natural goal scorer.
Second straight year that Stanford has scored 5 at home against the Golden Bears now. Defeated Cal 5-0 here last year. Layden Purchase is on now. He replaced the goal scoring De Flores with the first goal of the match. Finishing off those Cal subs, Jake Himmelstein is on, a sophomore from San Francisco. And
Connor-
Armand Samimi.
Connor Evans with the delivery was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and this is a kid who he sits in. I think about Jared Gilby. He's different, you know, but he's similar to other players in years past from Stanford that just had that footballing ability in them. You can see that he has a good panorama, good view of the field, immediate impact as well.
Well, Evans is a guy who hadn't played a whole lot recently. Came on as a sub against UC Santa Barbara as a foul is called, and Jeremy Gunn saying he just put together consistent performances in training, was very solid and deserved a chance to play. And that's kind of the good problem that Jeremy Gunn has, just he does not lack for quality this year.
No.
And so a lot of guys perhaps frustrated that they're not getting the minutes that they would on other teams, but there's such a deep squad this year. As Evans look to send another delicious service into the box. And it's well struck. Alan Evers, no. Headed away by Santiago Hopkins, and
Go by Stanford.
Now, going back to the blog that you were talking about, one of the other things that called my attention was he said we have each other's back. No matter,
Yep.
and he said the coach is going through the same transition that we're going through as well. You know, after Kevin Grimes being there 22 years, and this team, you can see it when they play. The performance for the first 65 minutes for Cal was impressive. Now one of their top players goes out, and it's a downer.
Yeah.
You know, it's so tough. He's going to be feeling, he's going to feel terrible that he's put Cal in this situation. Adi Mabua. And actually he was having a good performance, but sometimes strikers feel so alone, they're getting frustrated.
Yeah.
And it can get the best of them. And here you see the result, but I don't think that's the whole story. I think Stanford was moving in that direction, in that clip as well.
Santiago Hopkins picking up the yellow. His father, Alan, has broadcast on Pac-12 networks
I
before.
worked with him many years. That's Alan's son, huh?
That's Alan's son, yeah. It's a foul on Kwakwa. I remember running into Alan Hopkins doing one of the first men's basketball games on Pac-12 networks here at Maples Pavilion. Wished him good luck. He said thank you. That's my interaction with Alan Hopkins. I'm sure he remembers that.
One of my first big matches with him in Toronto. It was Liverpool was playing, Celtic was playing, Roma with Francisco Totti.
Nice.
70,000 people, and we had a blast. He's a great guy. Top commentator.
Yes. A good through ball. And Bracco coming about 40 yards out of goal. Oh, Manuel Neuer there. Well, we are just under 2 minutes to play. It's been a comprehensive final 20 minutes or so from the Cardinal after Adi Mabua was shown a red. But Cal had been very positive prior to that. And they were not 4 goals worse than the Cardinal tonight. Of course, going down a man changes things. No goals in the first half, 6 in the second half. Kwakwa shipping one forward. Tate Dolan gonna head that back to Brocker.
There is 1 minute remaining in the second half.
South of 60. Cardinal looking for one more, perhaps.
I think one thing to mention as well, though, Kevin, is the goals, the way that Stanford scored were impressive.
Yeah.
You got a variety of looks. You have different circulation of the ball. You have players that have that killer instinct, the timing, the collective goals, headers. You got link-ups in the area. I mean, it's pretty impressive to say the least. And I think it's something we talked about earlier. It's a release. Because they've been so frustrated doing everything right but not having the final touch, the final quality. And once you break through, that's what I was saying, then the floodgates will open.
240 plus minutes without a goal in conference play, and then 5 in the final 28 minutes of this one. And Stanford takes home a 5-1 win over their rivals from the East Bay.
Beautiful night of football. I thought that Stanford was impressive, playing on all cylinders. Cal, for me, is an impressive team. It's a work in progress. Leonard Griffin is going to have a team that's incredibly talented. He needs a few more pieces, obviously, and he needs some time to build it together. But what a matchup for the first half, and then the goals came. 6 goals in the second half. What more can you ask for? Foot-chip ball at the top level. Wonderful.
What a second half it was for the Stanford Cardinal. They improved to 6-0-3, and they are undefeated through their first 9 for the first time in more than 20 years. Hasn't happened since 2001 that they've gone at 9 unbeaten to start this season. Meanwhile, Cal falls to 3-3-3 and 1-2 in Pac-12 play. Well, that will do it for us tonight from the farm. For Christopher Sullivan, my broadcast partner, and our technical director, executive producer extraordinaire, Jeff Butler, I'm Kevin Dana saying sayonara from Stanford. Final score for the final time, 6th ranked Stanford 5, Cal 1. Thanks for watching men's soccer on Pac-12 Networks.